It's Friday. It's 4 o'clock. It's short fuse. Hello. It's a very royal short fuse today. We're very royal, aren't we today, Pri? Pri loves the royal family. Whereas Johnny's a Republican like me, aren't you, Jonas?
Yes.
Bring them all down. Before we talk about what's been happening, look at this. Oh, wow. Can you see that now? Rob, can you see that? Now, that is the winner, as if we would give it to little Ginger Freddie Rand. But that is going to be in someone's hands next week. Personality of the year. Freddie was so desperate to be somebody that he put his own name on it. That's the state he's in. And that's why he's gone to Copenhagen to find some sanctuary. It's been a busy week, hasn't it? It's been a busy week for Donald Trump. It's been a busy week for the racists at Britain First. It's also been a busy week for Theresa May and Brexit. But most importantly, we couldn't start, and drum roll please for the Royals. Johnny, drum roll, there we go. With Meghan and Heza. Ah, look at that. Now, can you believe all of this rubbish about these two getting together and the roast chicken, the flipping roast chicken? It's going to break the internet. It's going to cause immense overheating of IT systems as people start searching for Meghan's chicken recipe just because they got together with a roast chicken dinner. I think that is all we can say. Pri will be following this keenly. The rest of us don't give a damn. Anyway, moving on. What did you say, Pri?
That's why you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Story of the week. This is about our mate, Sadiq Khan. Also a good friend of Donald Trump, I hear. Now, the mayor has said that he wants all 32 boroughs in London to ban fracking. Oh, yes. He calls it a, quotes, harmful process. And he says the water that could be used for fracking would be better used elsewhere. It would put London under stress, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Now, there's nothing wrong with a mayor having an opinion, but he is the mayor of London. He's not a mayor of all the London boroughs. From last time I remember, London boroughs have got their own councils with their own councillors, their own council leaders. So what the hell is the Mayor of London saying this for, as if he's speaking for all Londoners, right? The whole point about fracking is you're supposed to make your own mind up. Here we are at Energy Live Views. We're not going to say to you it's good. We're not going to say it's bad. We're going to say there are risks around it, but there is the same risks as anything else. What you have to do is have a democratic process. And so, let's be honest, there is very little chance of any shale gas being really under London. Most of it's further away in places like down near Sussex and mainly in the north. But putting that aside, should the mayor really be saying this is what London Borough should do? Shouldn't be dictating to that. That's up to each individual council area. And let's face it, if someone suddenly offered Georgie 200 grand to dig under his house for shale gas, what would you say? He'd say take the whole house. Of course he would. So there we go. And he would get it sponsored by Nando's afterwards. Anyway, other chicken shops are available. Moving on. We did the Tesla truck just a couple of days ago. And we announced when old Elon was saying, oh, this is the future, this scary, weird, metallic death truck. Anyway, energy consultants or energy have come up by doing some analysis, because this thing is a monster. And they've worked out to charge it up would be using the same amount of energy as 4,000 homes. 4,000 homes. Half an hour speed charge for this huge beast is 1.6 megawatts. And this is one of the things that's come out recently. There's been more stuff in the press. Maybe you've seen it, maybe you haven't. But, this whole Tesla, it's all green, it's great, blah, blah. Well, let's think about it. The lithium-ion batteries. Where is that lithium coming from? That has got to be mined. We're in real trouble already environmentally, how much damage we're doing. What's going to be the life of these batteries? Who's going to be able to clean them up? And now this whole thing about how much energy they'll charge does make you wonder about the whole kind of, Tesla green dream future. What Tesla would obviously say is, hey, when we build these chargers, they're all going to be used with solar power. But well, let's see this. It's just interesting that you can't just say, oh, constantly, well done on that. Oh, have I skipped a story? I did, didn't I?
I caught it, don't worry.
Ah, you caught it. Well done. Sorry about that. Anyway, the final story, which should have been the story before, was all about MEPs. So George is on it, aren't you now? Have you got it up?
Normally I'm not listening.
No, good, exactly. You can tell we're heading towards Christmas. It's all just falling apart today. So Brexit negotiations aside and what we're going to pay for it, the MEPs have said that they want to reduce energy across Europe by 40% by 2030. So this is moving on from the previous goals. They've also agreed that 35% of all energy in the future for the states in the European Union, probably not us, I say probably because who knows what's going to happen, should come from renewable energy. And particularly they're looking at 12% of the transport sector coming from green energy. I think, whatever you say about MEPs in Europe, I think this is a really good thing to send out a message about better efficiency targets. Obviously, all of this stuff needs the backing of proper state legislature and some way that companies can do this, because to suddenly put in all the infrastructure to give us all that renewable power, how the hell are you going to do it? And that'll be coming up a little bit later. Okay, well, that's good. We've done the Tesla truck. Well done, George, for once doing something properly. Let's get on with this week's Viewpoint. Okay, well, this kind of follows on to what we were talking about earlier about the whole kind of greener targets in Europe. It is the end of FITS. Yes, the feed-in tariff scheme is to close in 2019. It's been announced. Now, the reason I think this carries on from what was said just earlier, the previous story was all about, committing to targets. And the way you commit to targets is you have to make sure people can build the stuff. And generally that involves governments incentivizing with some sort of kind of kickbacks. The feed-in tariff was really a big thing when we started ELN 7 years ago. It was all about, you're going to invest in renewable energy. You should get something back for making that commitment. Government offers to pay you at a certain price, etc. And you could say that that's the whole reason that solar really took off. That's why you see so much solar around now. I think in 2013, 12, 13, from my memory serves me right, the government realised it was just too successful, had to reduce the level of what they were paying per kilowatt hour. And now what they're suggesting is really that it's now gone to that stage where you can't do it. The government wants to put out a new levy framework, which will supersede the feed-in tariff, and they may introduce it back in 2025. But for now, from 2019, it's gone. They're looking at things like biomass and energy from waste to grow over this time. Well, what does this all mean? Well, I think actually you could say, well, this is really bad news for people who think, I've invested in renewable energy expecting the kickback from the government. You could see it another way, which is actually these technologies have now got themselves to a level where they are doing okay. So should you keep funding stuff that's doing okay? Should it just be that we're using seed money to kickstart this and now we've reached the right stage? So you could read the feed-in tariff closing as a doom story, or you could see it as a positive that actually we're getting closer to the market sorting itself out. Now, about 3 weeks ago, we brought you the story of the Dieter Helm report, which said there was too much fiddling around by government. And of course, excuse me, what that means is he was saying government levies are causing, all this chaos and causing bills to go up, etc., etc. We can't have it both ways. You either say that we're going to ensure that people get the right amount of renewable growth and we fund it through these tariffs, or we say we just do it for a short time and we let the market take care of itself. I think that if you really wanted to commit to it, you'd probably have long-term funding, but we don't want to pay for it. We have a green, we want to say we don't want to pay for it. Comes up time and time again. We all want it for free. So I think what the government's done here is probably the right thing. It's now said, We've run it for a while. It's time to phase it out and see if the market can take care of itself. In my view, this is probably the way we're going to go. There may be new technologies that come along, perhaps battery storage or something else that will need some sort of incentive, and maybe that's where the sort of subsidy money will go in the future. But that's one to watch. Well, what's your view? Let me know. Write to us at Fuse at Energy Live News. But now it's time to find out what the reporters have been up to. It is the Hack Hutch.
Hello, hello.
Wait for your intro. Can you wait for your intro?
Oh,
Right.
Saw it over there.
Yeah. Right. Now, you've all heard this week about the Ashes and England getting trounced. Okay. You may have also heard about a certain Johnny Bairstow, right, who got sledged. And if you know about cricket terms, which George doesn't, sledging is when you're in the middle, the opposing team gives the batsman a load of chatter. Okay. And they sledged him for his headbutting. Now, our Johnny's far more polite. I trust I'm not going to get head butted as we talk.
I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Exactly. What have you been loving this week then, big boy?
Well, me and Rob actually went earlier this week to the new IKEA store in Greenwich.
Did Rob kit out his kitchen?
He's waiting on it, I think. He's got some details and they're going to give him a call.
Exactly.
But yeah, so that's in Greenwich, and we actually went to the official groundbreaking ceremony, even though it looked like it'd been going on for a few days already, but don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
And yeah, so basically they're building this new superstore. IKEA are kind of about clean living anyway, supposedly. So this new superstore basically takes that to another level, and they want to build this shop that has solar panels on the roof, ground source heating, rainwater collection systems, and all these features to basically make sure it's sustainable as possible.
Is it going to be completely zero carbon, zero emissions? What's their plan with it?
As the spokesperson from IKEA said, we can't answer that at this moment. Make of that as what you will.
Right, but that's their aim.
Yeah.
So it's going to be clean. Right,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
that's fine. Okay.
And, it's actually located specifically to basically be in a midpoint of all the bus routes and train routes and everything like that. So
Okay.
they want you to get to the store. Don't know how you're meant to take all your stuff home.
Yeah, that's right. They want everyone to go to the store by public transport. Is that right?
Yeah.
The staff, I can get that. But
Yeah.
how the hell are you taking a Kipling sofa home on the tube or the bus?
Yeah, you'll have to ask them.
Unless it really comes out either either. Okay, cool. That's great. Did you like it? What do you think?
Well, there wasn't much to see when we went there, but I think it's a good idea.
You like the sustainable muffins, didn't you?
Yeah, they put on great food for us, and that was all sustainable, so that was a good start to the day. But I do kind of think that maybe a longer lasting oak table or something might be a better solution.
Whoa, controversial.
But no, it was good. It was good.
Okay, all right, cool. And then, oh God, it's one of these stories that your young generation love, isn't it?
The
Keep it
future's
real,
here.
man.
Yes.
Talk to me about Bitcoin.
So Bitcoin, if you're lucky enough to have invested in that a while ago, you'll probably know this already.
It means nothing.
But it peaked
It's
a
worth
couple days
nothing.
ago. It's dropped off slightly.
It's worth
I missed my
nothing.
chance.
It's
But
worth nothing.
It's worth nothing. Like paper money.
It's paper money. It's paper money.
But basically, you have to mine bitcoins, or you know, some people have to mine them. And to mine them uses energy because you have these computer rooms full of servers just whirring away, generating people cash. But that all sounds quite nice. But then researchers have basically said that the industry that mines the bitcoins could be using enough electricity a year to power 6.4 million homes.
Okay.
So,
All right. Let me just stop you there. So this is a virtual currency that doesn't exist,
Yep.
which has a value that's completely made up, because we heard
An arbitrary value.
an arbitrary value where we heard someone from the Bank of England say, hey guys, remember, this is not real. We are not going to give you money for it.
Hasn't stopped anyone so far.
Hasn't stopped
Yeah.
anyone. And now we call it Bitcoin mining. Means someone's writing a program to make this stuff. Is that right?
People are writing programs
Virtual
to
printing
create
press.
virtual puzzles that basically aligns you a certain token of bitcoins that you can't really spend.
And now that's using loads of energy.
Yeah.
Okay. If that's the future, thank God I'm getting it. That's all I can say. And then finally,
It's Friday night, so we're going to be on the beers. And
they've already started, I think. Oi, oi.
And Carlsberg has actually recently opened its first carbon neutral brewery. And so that's the first. They hope to have all their breweries carbon neutral by 2030. But basically, the main feature there are again a number of features, but the main one is they're using their own wastewater to create biogas, which they're going to use for heating in there. Which, because it's in big warehouses and stuff like that, is most of their energy spends there. So.
The wastewater is not going into the beer, is it? For God's sakes, please tell me.
It is Carlsberg. So.
Other beers are available, and we're not making any suggestions about the way Carlsberg tastes. Shut up, George. So yes, but they're all doing it now, aren't they? Everyone's going for as much sustainability as they can. Big brands. Sainsbury's last week, now at Carlsberg, IKEA. What's going on, man?
Corporate sustainable responsibility.
Your dad
the
would be
name of
happy
the
with that,
game.
wouldn't he? Your dad would love that. Okay, well that's about it. Apart from
A headbutt?
well, a headbutt would help.
Yes, apart from, you can get in touch with us, as always, by emailing stories@energylivenews.com, and we'd love to have a chat with you and take your ideas on board. So please email us.
And not headbutt you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jonathan. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Excellent. What a lad he is. Before we go, Johnny's doing something very weird off camera. Anyway, Elpa, as we said, it is taking place on Thursday, next Thursday. So good news for you guys is we will be here on Friday. What state we'll be in, I couldn't tell you, particularly George. But we'll be hoping for a really good night. There are still a few tickets left. If you'd like to try it and come along, then get in touch. The details are on the website, where we're looking for a really good, fun night. And we'll do a bit of stuff with various cocktails and see just how much wastewater we can recirculate. So that will be interesting. And finally, now George, we can say many things about George. Yeah, he's an idiot, he's a pillock, he's a pain in the arse, all of these things. But he does come up with some nutter stories, which I think are very funny. And this is one of them. A skyscraper in space. Oh, yes. It's a concept from a company called Clouds Architecture Office. And you may have seen it earlier in the... I just thought it was brilliant. So the idea is you shove an asteroid, I don't know, catch one anyway. You shove one up into space, into this geosynchronous orbit, so it goes around the Earth. You then start building from it a skyscraper, and you build the skyscraper down. What's great about this, there is an energy line. Okay, so it's 32 kilometers tall, right? So it's enormous. And the idea is that it'll be powered by solar panels based in space. Ooh! All to be filtered, recycled. There'll be electromagnetic elevators. It'll be amazing. It'll cost billions. And of course, it will never happen. But I did think it was good. And it would be certainly the place that we would send someone like Georgie. Okay, that is about it. Pri, have we got any shout outs?
No, none today.
None today. What about Kev? What about the Kevmeister?
No.
Kevin Corcoran, a real royal fanatic, a man who knows exactly what it's like to get married in somewhere royal. Oh, yes. Kev's not listening. Well, look, that's about it. I hope you have a great week, guys. We shall be back. We shall be hungover. We shall enjoy ourselves on the 7th. If you're coming along, have a great time. I'm sure you will. You'll see who wins Personality of the Year. Until next week, see you later.